Edward here from the infamous crypto viewing group. Of course, I'm going to give a shout out and a plug here for my buddies, my teammates, Dick Allgaier, Dan Smith, the guys and the folks on the back end, Dennis and Ed and Rose and everybody else. Roger, video editor, awesome dude. Do great stuff here, very important stuff. Constantly doing work here with the crypto viewing group. Check it out. Become a subscriber. You won't regret it. We got a lot of content and it's very timely, very important stuff dealing with not only cryptocurrencies but um, the ever unfolding tapestry of time as we continue to move forward within it, and we look at those things too. So that's my plug for the dudes. All right, let's move on with my vacation target here. Pando, some additional, the following sessions. I did find this website here um, that says that Pando is the world's second biggest organism. I don't know what they're saying is the first. Some sites say it's the largest, the number one. This site is saying it's number two. But this is an interesting article here because they kind of go into some of the feelings that I was getting in the following session. So again, this was a target that Dustin set up for me a couple of months back. I needed a vacation target. I said, "Hey, dude, you got something in mind?" He put something together, and I got started here. Some of the variables that I touch in these following sessions can be seen in here. Um, any cyclic factors involved in the target's regeneration, any unknown factors affecting the target's health, viability, and longevity, and any available interactive communicative consciousness or memory emanating from and or associated with the target. These are factors that I hit in the or I came upon in these sessions here. But this is interesting what they're saying here in regards to the work that they're trying to do to slow down or to, I don't want to say slow down. What's happening there is that the tree, which is one giant tree organism, is not regenerating itself. So the trees that are there are like parents and grandparents, and the babies it's not replenishing the youth is really what's going on. So here's some of the frustrations here. After significant investment in protecting the iconic Pando clone, we were disappointed. We were disappointed with this result, and that's what I was hitting on with this session here, where I had an emotion came over me that I felt was related to the target. So I didn't want to waste the aesthetic, so I went into to unload it into a session, and this is what I was feeling: this frustration and impatience of this what the f is going on here, and all of this kind of stuff, and finger pointing, and what's holding things up, and what's wrong here, all of these kinds of things. That it was somebody else's mistake, and all this kind of stuff. We have to find a fix, and somebody was feeling that it was all on them, and they were saying it's not my fault, and we got to solve this problem and must find the answer, and all of these things. Now, this is the very quickie version. I do go over the entire sessions on my Patreon site for folks who want to go through an analysis of everything and the videos of the session too. But that's what I was getting in this feeling where I was just going through these emotions of someone who was just frustrated with why they can't find an answer to this problem. So that was that. I came back. I got out of that. Came back. I don't know. A couple days later to hit the target again. This was when? Let me see here. This was November 3rd, and my cueing was find and describe the nugget. Something in my mind that was just driving me crazy. And here I am on this mountain, this rugged mountain. Felt like there was some kind of a mining cave or path in there. And I did confirm that this area is or was a big mining area. So there are mining shafts around here as well. Just quickly go through it. Felt like I was on a hill or a mountain. Everything felt oversized, like maybe the second oversized largest living organism on Earth. Felt earthy and gritty, sharp edges, heavy mound or mountain. And so here's what, let me just do this here. I'm going to go through this quickly here. What is interesting about this place, and the soil is different. It tasted different, a different mineral content. That's what I was perceiving as the most interesting thing here, that the mineral content was different. Where am I here? Felt like a different world. Planetary magnetics felt different. Am I on a geofault line or a grid placement or some kind of a power spot? Felt kind of like Bermuda Triangle-ish. So that was that session where it was like something's going on. I felt something weird with the soil and something strange with the magnetics. Took that into another session a couple days later, and what was with the soil? What's with the minerals? And it felt metallic, rusty, metallic taste, magnetic feel. And this was a really cool part. Where I moved into the molecular level of the magnetic minerals in the soil, and started kind of hanging around in there and that level. And magnetic force was moving through these mineral elements here of the target. It felt like it was magnetic. Felt like it was like meteorite magnetic, and I got this idea that there was somewhere in these hills or in this mountainous area, there may have been a meteor, like an ancient meteor strike, and these meteor debris had dissipated around the area, and that there was this magnetic elements of this were in the soil, and it was changing and remagnetizing elements of the soil, which was really, really, really cool. It was really interesting to me. AOLs of the signal, like I was on the moon or Mars or something like that. So I want to get back to it here. How does a magnetized space rock affect the surface it lands on? And these really interesting ideas, like the force of the hit. Because again, I'm in at this moment, I'm in the molecular level of the mineral base of the soil, and this is what I was exploring here. And the electromagnetic fields were fluctuating, and that there were some layers of the soil that were linked to the previous magnetic body, and other layers that were magnetized to an outside force. That was really, really interesting. Somebody had mentioned, well, maybe it's the chemtrails. Maybe the chemtrails are, maybe that's part of the chemtrails too. How does this affect things on, okay, here, the gravity felt different to me. Things felt a little warped. They felt larger. Things grew elongated, which is an elongated growth pattern here. Like they feel like they grow larger. And where did I get to this? I get the feeling of, oh yeah, it felt really strange to me. And I got the feeling of relics. Like this place is no longer functioning. There's some functioning issue here. It was dusty and dirty like a magnetic mountain. And then this presence showed up here. And I went through a questioning process to try to get to it. And I asked the question, what would it say? And it said to not fear, don't fear us, that there are large beings, a large presence here. And I got the feeling of extinction here, and that this presence didn't make it, and that they didn't have a chance, that they were not destined for survival, that they were in an inhospitable place. These were the ideas that were coming to me here. Inhospitable to them, that the area was not going to allow them to survive. It had become inhospitable to them, and that they weren't going to make it. Well, in this, the feeling here was that that I was speaking to something that was like a memory. Was like a memory. And this goes to the variables of the tasking here, where it says, where was that? Any available interactive, communicative consciousness or memory emanating from and or associated with the target. And that's what I was experiencing here. It felt like it was a memory that I was communicating with, and that that there was some element of it, and I questioned where some element of it was trapped in the magnetics of the soil. And I had this idea, is the history recorded in the magnetics, and this is where the whole experience for me shifted into what what really where I wanted to go, because where I was moving into was more of the records, the historical records. And where were they? Were they stored in the magnetic elements of the soil? That's what I felt. And I wanted to tap into them. I wanted to experience them more. I wanted to communicate with this consciousness here, which again was part of the tasking here too. So that's the quickie versions of these sessions. Again, the long versions are on my Patreon. So that's these here. Now, what is coming up in the following sessions after this is where I get into this element here of the dying factor, and some very profound ideas about that. So those are coming up. Again, for the full sessions, I'll have the link below if anybody wants to check out my Patreon, see the full analysis of the sessions and the sessions themselves. Of those 3 sessions, I recorded, I think, 2 of them. I think 2 of them, I'm pretty sure I have 2 of them recorded. But whatever ones I have recorded, I'm going to put up there for the full sessions and the entire analysis as well. So that is that. One more quick plug for my dudes here, the Crypto Viewing Group. Check us out as well. I will have that link too. And I will say thanks for watching. Many more to come.